As most have seen by now, there's a new NFL Combine 40-yard dash record which belongs to Xavier Worthy after running a 4.22. The previous record was by John Ross, who ran a 4.23 and was selected 9th overall in the 2017 draft. Everyone is talking about him now and how fast he is, but how good is he? Can he catch the ball with that speed? Is he going to be a guaranteed top 10 pick now? These are all the questions going around now, but right off the bat, I don't think he's going top 10. This draft class is so deep already. The Chiefs had an interview with him, but I also don't think he'll be available towards the end of the first round, but he definitely just secured a mid-first round selection, I believe. Xavier Worthy is a 6'1" wide receiver for Texas. He is coming off one of his best seasons as a junior with 75 receptions for 1,014 yards and 5 touchdowns. His freshman year is pretty noticeable as well, as he recorded 981 yards on 62 receptions and 12 touchdowns. His freshman year, he set records for receiving yards and touchdowns in a season. He also broke the school freshman receiving yards record with 261 yards against Oklahoma. Xavier is an explosive receiver off the line of scrimmage and excels when it comes to tracking the ball off of running full speed. This is a good thing to see, as a lot of times when we see really quick receivers, they struggle or lack with tracking the ball. Worthy is also an effective player to use in motion. With his speed, it can completely alter how certain coverages are being run. He is a threat off the line of scrimmage since he is very quick and agile with his routes to get himself open. But now, since the combine has wrapped up and more reports are coming out with certain players' draft reports, the main thing that has negatively been talked about Xavier Worthy was his frame. This quote right here says, "Terribly skinny frame, struggled versus press, and often goes down on first contact." You know, this can be concerning going into the NFL, as if he goes up against any physical player, like for example L'Jarius Sneed or Jalen Ramsey or any physical player, it would be all that speed for nothing during those games. I use L'Jarius Sneed as an example, as we saw in the wild card round how he completely shut down Tyreek Hill. If he has already struggled being pressed, that definitely needs to be something he should be working on improving. It was also noted that he dropped a lot of careless passes throughout his college career, which is a concern, especially if the Chiefs want to draft him. But I like to argue that point with the fact that he was recovering from a broken hand injury and is completely healed from that now. But those are the main negatives these reporters are saying about him, which you can say about a lot of these receivers and point them out for a lot of their drop passes as well. He does have a smaller frame, but we've seen plenty of successful players with people with a similar frame. If you look at his game, the way he's able to run full speed and track the ball over his shoulders is one of his best abilities. This easily makes him a primary deep threat to any offense he's a part of. He also has many route running abilities, as he's very quick in the short game and transitions and breaks out well. Like I mentioned already, it's hard to find a fast player like Xavier who has his tracking ability. If you pair him up with a quarterback like Mahomes, that's where it can get deadly. But just since he broke the record and is fast, how do we know he will help any of these offenses out? Well, if you look at his tape, it's pretty obvious. He has great route running skills. That on top of being fast already gives him great potential already. And yeah, we've seen plenty of good route runners that don't end up catching or dropping a lot of passes and don't perform as expected, but I have a feeling this may be different. And the thing is, with Xavier, we'll actually be able to see him play. When John Ross broke the record, he was dealing with a lot of injuries, so he never really was able to show his full potential. He no longer plays in the NFL and retired last season with the Chiefs. The way Xavier can beat defenses and get open by using his quick footwork and route running skills will carry over perfectly in the NFL, especially if he gets drafted to a team with a good quarterback and offense. He's going to be a weapon. Xavier Worthy had a good college career as well, earning himself the Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year and 2-time first team and 1-time second team All Big 12. He announced ahead of his senior year that he will be entering the NFL draft, so in only 3 years he's already shown why he is deserving of being in the NFL. When Xavier met with the Chiefs, it was before he ran the 40-yard dash, and if he somehow lands in Kansas City, that may be a problem. Patrick Mahomes has already made comments on his 40-yard dash record, how they both are from Texas. It's going to be interesting to see if the Chiefs can get him. Last draft, they traded up for wide receiver Rashee Rice, so I'm curious to see if they will do something similar. If they do that, that means Brett Veach and the rest of the Kansas City front office believes fully in his potential. I just don't see him being available at the end of the first round. The only possibility is if L'Jarius Sneed ends up being traded. If they're able to get a higher first round pick than they might be able to, maybe they'll just end up trading up in the draft for him. It was also rumored that maybe a first round pick will do the job for Sneed, so it is likely the Chiefs can move up in this year's draft. With a deal still not done with Chris Jones, it leaves me curious to think if he hits the market, what's going to happen if a team offers him a massive contract. Sneed, I feel like, is for sure going to be traded, so hopefully it's for a first round pick so the Chiefs can move up in the draft. They have the last pick in the first round, and I just don't see them giving up that pick, so moving up would be ideal. Like I said, they moved up in the second round last year to get Rashee Rice, so maybe we'll see something similar. Patrick Mahomes reached out to Xavier Worthy Worthy as well after the 40-yard dash, sending him a text. Xavier Worthy had this to say: "In a perfect world, I definitely would want to go to the Chiefs. Just the way Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs improvise and use you. They had Tyreek Hill. The way they used him, I feel like that would be a perfect fit for me. Maybe Xavier Worthy can be that Tyreek Hill replacement the Chiefs have been looking for. The Chiefs the last 2 seasons have struggled on the deep ball as compared to the other seasons with Tyreek Hill and Mahomes. If the Chiefs can add a proven, quick, deep threat to this offense, the possibilities are endless with his speed and playmaking abilities. Mahomes and Andy Reid will be able to use his play style to elevate this offense even more." There are quite a few teams I could see Xavier Worthy potential going to and improving. The Texans could be a potential landing spot for him, as they would be going all in the first round on a wide receiver to improve their star rookie quarterback's offense. The Texans are in a great spot since they drafted so well last year and showed why they can compete in the playoffs. That whole first half against the Ravens as well, they put up a fight. This team has a whole lot of a potential. I think it's unlikely though the Texans will draft a wide receiver in the first round, but he would be a solid addition next to Tank Dell and Nico Collins, who both had good seasons last year. But if you look at every team and based on each team's best case scenario, the Chiefs landing him would be the perfect fit. The Chiefs need receivers this offseason, as Rashee Rice will improve, but they just need more depth to this offense. They don't want to have another year leading the league in drops and underperforming with the league's best quarterback. Brett Veach and the rest of the office knows this as well, as they will do what they can to draft Xavier. I'm sure Mahomes will invite Worthy out to his invitational in Texas later this season before phase 1 of training camp starts. The fact that Mahomes is publicly showing praise to Xavier is a good sign, because that already means Mahomes sees something in him himself. Texas fans the past 3 seasons have been seeing it as well. He shouldn't be praised only for his speed, since he is much more than that when it comes to how he plays the game. He would help this Chiefs offense out a ton. Kadarius Toney was similar in college, as he wasn't as fast as Worthy, but Toney has always been a great route runner using his quick feet. He just struggles with catching the ball. And to me, what's the point in running a beautiful route and getting wide open if you're going to just drop the ball? Xavier Worthy isn't only fast, he can catch and has great route running abilities as well. Like I mentioned already, he's automatically a top deep threat to any offense in the league. I think when people say he dropped a lot of passes in college, don't really know that he really had the broken hand injury as well. But you can say that about anybody. He's going to improve throughout his whole entire career, especially if he has somebody like Mahomes teaching him along throughout the whole entire way. Xavier Worthy on the Chiefs could help this team go for the first ever 3-peat. A lot of teams are still putting him in mock drafts to land in Kansas City, even though mock drafts really don't matter. Last season, the Chiefs offense really struggled together as a unit, and it stemmed from not being able to catch the ball. Even though they traded back for McCole Hardman, he didn't really do much all season long, as he was dealing with injuries still. Rashee Rice wasn't targeted much throughout the first half of the season, and we saw Travis Kelce get doubled and even triple teamed in almost every single game. But giving the Chiefs a weapon like Xavier Worthy helps open and spread the field so much more for Mahomes. You have him, a young Rashee Rice who's ready to have a breakout season, and the greatest tight end ever wanting to make history. On top of that, one of the best coaches of all time. That is a deadly offense and would be the perfect fit for Xavier.